She thought she had finally escaped her past. But in the middle of the night, armed men broke into the house, tied Ahmad Kamal down, and kidnapped her into the darkness beneath Cairo. What waited there was far worse than death. A hidden network of traitors. Secret plots against Salahuddin Ayyubi and the same people who had once trained her to destroy Islam from within. But no one realized this kidnapping was actually a trap. And before the night was over, the entire conspiracy would begin to collapse. Before we begin, tell us honestly, do you think someone raised in darkness can truly find redemption? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoy powerful stories from Islamic history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Islamic Conquests. The third day after the young woman's confession, a small group of men sent by Ali bin Sufyan finally reached the sacred Abyssinian site she had described. 6 men, all armed, all wearing the uniforms of Egyptian soldiers. They carried bows, spears, and swords openly. There was no disguise, no attempt to hide who they were. But Ahmad Kamal had already warned them about the dangers waiting in those mountains, and what happened next proved he was right. As soon as they entered the rocky valley, a spear suddenly flew through the air and buried itself in the ground directly before them. A warning, stop moving. You are surrounded. The men halted immediately. Moments later, an Abyssinian priest appeared with 3 armed guards beside him. Hidden archers watched from the cliffs above. The priest warned them calmly, one wrong move, and none of you will leave this place alive. The Egyptian soldiers slowly threw down their weapons and climbed off their camels. Then their leader stepped forward and smiled. We are friends, he said. We came with respect, and we hope to leave with respect. The priest stared at him suspiciously. Then the soldier asked the question that changed everything. Were the 3 girls sacrificed? The priest's face darkened with anger. No, the soldier acted surprised. But we were told your gods demanded sacrifice. We heard your defeat happened because the girls escaped. The priest cursed Rajab immediately. At that moment, Ali bin Sufyan's plan began working perfectly. The Egyptian commander pretended to be part of a rebellious military faction, working against Salahuddin Ayyubi. He claimed they had personally delivered the foreign girls to Rajab so they could be sacrificed. The priest believed every word, and then he revealed the truth. Rajab betrayed us, the priest growled. He tried to save the girls and help them escape. The Egyptian soldiers exchanged quick looks. No one spoke. The priest continued bitterly. The girls escaped us, but Rajab did not. Then he led them deeper into the sacred grounds. What they saw next sent chills through every man standing there. In the center of a stone chamber sat a large clay container covered by another bowl. The priest slowly lifted the top, reached inside, and pulled out a human head, Rajab's head, preserved inside liquid so it would not decay. His eyes were half open, his mouth sealed forever in silence. Water dripped slowly from his face, while the priest held it before them, like a trophy. The crocodiles ate the rest of him, the priest said coldly. For a moment, none of the soldiers spoke. Even hardened men struggle when death suddenly stands before them so closely. But what happened next mattered even more. One of the Egyptian soldiers calmly said, "Give us the head." But no one realized what was about to happen next. Late one night, Ahmad Kamal and the young woman slept in the courtyard of the house given to them by Ali bin Sufyan. A guard stood watch outside. Just before midnight, the guard quietly began walking around the building. Then suddenly, someone grabbed him from behind. A cloth was forced over his mouth. His hands and feet were tied instantly. 4 men moved through the darkness with terrifying speed. The house door was locked from inside, so one man climbed onto another's shoulders, crossed the wall, and opened the entrance from within. Moments later, all 4 men entered silently. One of them moved toward the sleeping young woman. Before she could even scream, a cloth covered her mouth. She was lifted onto the man's shoulder and wrapped in a blanket. At the same time, Ahmad Kamal was tied tightly to his bed before he could properly react. The attackers moved quickly. Within moments, the girl vanished into the Cairo night. And then they disappeared toward ruins feared by almost everyone in the city. Ancient underground ruins from the time of the pharaohs. People whispered terrifying stories about those ruins. Some claimed they were filled with spirits. Others said giant snakes lived beneath the tunnels. Very few dared enter, but the kidnappers moved through those ruins as if they knew every stone by heart. Deep underground, they passed narrow passages, hidden chambers, and dark stairways carved into rock. Torches flickered along the walls. Strange creatures scattered across the floors, footsteps echoed through the darkness. Finally, they reached a hidden chamber prepared like a secret meeting place. The girl was dropped onto bedding while the cloth was removed from her mouth. Furious, she shouted, "Have you brought me here?" One man stepped forward. "If we had not taken you tonight," he said calmly, "you would have been handed to the executioner by morning." Then he revealed his name. Faisal Fatimi, the very man the young woman had accused before Salahuddin Ayyubi, the same official still trusted inside Cairo. The young woman immediately understood, and to everyone watching, it appeared she had finally reached her true allies again. She began telling Faisal Fatimi everything that had happened since escaping the desert storm. Rajab, the Abyssinians, the deaths of the two girls, Ahmad Kamal capturing her. Faisal Fatimi listened carefully. He still had no idea Rajab was dead, and that ignorance would soon destroy him. When the others left the chamber, Faisal Fatimi remained behind with one military commander loyal to him. Now his real plans began surfacing. He spoke openly. "We must remove Salahuddin Ayyubi," he said quietly, "and Ali bin Sufyan as well." The young woman listened carefully. Faisal continued explaining how spies had already spread corruption inside Cairo. Some agents worked among officials. Others targeted wealthy families. Some spread immorality among the youth. Others tried creating mistrust between the army and the people. His voice carried confidence. Too much confidence. He believed no one could touch him. "Salahuddin still trusts me completely," Faisal Fatimi said proudly. "She even consults me in private matters." But what he said next revealed the true danger. "Our greatest obstacle is not the Crusaders," he explained. "It is the unity between the Muslim people and Salahuddin's army. As long as the people trust the army, Cairo cannot fall." Then he revealed their strategy. Spread corruption, destroy moral discipline, create suspicion, turn the people against their own defenders. Only then could outside enemies succeed. The young woman remained calm while listening, but deep inside she realized the conspiracy was even larger than she had feared. Then suddenly, footsteps echoed from outside. One of the guards rushed into the chamber. "There is movement outside," he warned urgently. "Something is wrong." Faisal Fatimi's face changed immediately. He hurried toward a hidden opening and looked outside into the moonlit ruins. What he saw froze him. Soldiers, many soldiers. The ruins were surrounded, for the first time that night. Fear entered his eyes, and no one inside that chamber yet understood that the trap around them had already closed. The moment Faisal Fatimi saw soldiers surrounding the ruins, panic spread through the chamber. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then one of his men whispered nervously, "We've been betrayed." Faisal's mind raced quickly. Moonlight covered the ruins outside, and armed soldiers could now be seen moving into position from every direction. The exits were disappearing, one by one. The same underground maze that had protected them for years was suddenly becoming a prison. One of the guards beside Faisal spoke urgently. "You cannot escape outside now. Go deeper into the ruins. Extinguish the torches and stay hidden." Faisal nodded immediately. So he still believed he could survive this. He still believed he was smarter than the men hunting him. But what he did not realize was that Ali bin Sufyan had already planned almost every step of this night. Outside the ruins, Ali bin Sufyan himself stood beside Ahmad Kamal. Dozens of soldiers surrounded the ancient structure while horsemen blocked every possible escape route. The guard who had supposedly been attacked outside the house now approached Ali bin Sufyan calmly, because he had never truly been overpowered. He was one of Ali bin Sufyan's own intelligence agents. Everything had been arranged carefully. the kidnapping, the escape, even the path into the ruins. It was all part of a larger trap designed to expose Faisal Fatimi with undeniable proof. But there was still one dangerous problem. Inside those ruins, one wrong move could turn the darkness into chaos. The underground tunnels stretched deep beneath the earth. Narrow passages twisted in every direction. One careless attack could easily kill both enemies and allies alike. And somewhere inside, the young woman was still trapped. Ali bin Sufyan lit torches and turned toward Ahmad Kamal. "Stay close," he ordered. Then they entered the ruins. The deeper they moved underground, the heavier the air became. Shadows danced along the walls. Strange sounds echoed through the darkness. The men following Ali bin Sufyan gripped their swords tightly while moving through corridors filled with dust, webs, and centuries of silence. Without a guide, they could have wandered for hours. But one of Ali bin Sufyan's hidden agents was already inside waiting for them. And that man now led them quickly through the underground maze. Suddenly, another figure appeared running through the darkness. "He knows," the man shouted. "A Faisal Fatimi knows there's a trap." Then he disappeared deeper inside. Everyone began moving faster. Moments later, the sound of clashing steel echoed underground. Someone screamed. Another voice shouted, "I'll kill them all. Leave no witnesses alive." Ali bin Sufyan and Ahmad Kamal rushed down a stone staircase toward the chamber below. The torches revealed chaos. Blood covered the floor. The young woman sat collapsed against the wall, both hands pressed desperately against her stomach. Her clothes were soaked red. Near her, swords clashed violently as Faisal Fatimi and one remaining loyal guard fought desperately against hidden agents working for Ali bin Sufyan. The deception had finally shattered, and Faisal Fatimi now understood that he had been trapped from the very beginning. Ali bin Sufyan stepped forward and shouted his name. The moment Faisal saw how many armed men surrounded him, something inside him broke. His sword fell from his hand. It was over. But Ahmad Kamal saw none of that at first. His eyes had already gone toward the wounded young woman. He rushed to her immediately. The sword strike had torn deeply into her stomach. Without hesitation, Ahmad Kamal tore cloth from nearby bedding and wrapped it tightly around her wound, trying desperately to stop the bleeding. The young woman looked up at him through pain and smiled. "Your enemies have been exposed." Those words struck Ahmad Kamal harder than any sword ever could, because at that moment, he finally understood something he'd resisted admitting for days. She had truly changed, not for safety, not for reward, but sincerely. Meanwhile, Faisal Fatimi and the remaining conspirators were arrested and chained. The truth behind the operation soon became clear. Two of the men inside the ruins had secretly been Ali bin Sufyan's agents all along. The military commander standing beside Faisal was also part of the plan. Everything had been carefully arranged using the information the young woman provided earlier. The secret phrases, the contact methods, the hidden signals used by the spy network. Ali bin Sufyan had slowly allowed Faisal Fatimi to believe he was rescuing one of his own agents, when in reality, he was walking directly into exposure. And it almost worked perfectly. Because at the final moment, the young woman accidentally revealed something through her words that made Faisal suspicious. The deception cracked. The fighting began. And before losing control of the situation, Faisal Fatimi stabbed her himself. Not out of anger alone, but because he knew she could testify against him. Even in defeat, he tried silencing her forever. Back in Cairo, the prisoners were separated into different cells. Ali bin Sufyan personally showed them Rajab's preserved head. Then he gave them a warning they would never forget. "If you think death will come quickly," he said coldly, "remove that hope from your hearts. Until your entire network is exposed, you will neither live peacefully nor die peacefully." The threat worked. Within days, more members of the conspiracy were identified and arrested. The hidden network inside Cairo slowly collapsed piece by piece. But while the investigation moved forward, another battle was taking place. The battle to save the young woman's life. The physicians and surgeons tried everything possible. The wound was too severe. The sword had torn through her insides, and in those days such injuries rarely healed. Yet strangely, she no longer seemed afraid. It was as if peace had finally replaced the terror she once carried inside herself. She had only one request: let Ahmad Kamal stay beside me. Even Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi himself came to visit her. When Ahmad Kamal stood respectfully before the Sultan, the young woman weakly reached for his hand and held it tightly beside her. Salahuddin watched silently, then he placed his hand gently upon her head and prayed for her recovery. For a few moments, the room became completely quiet. No politics, no conspiracies, no war, only a wounded soul waiting to return to Allah. On the third night, Ahmad Kamal sat beside her as her breathing slowly weakened. She looked toward him carefully. Then in a fading voice, she asked Ahmad, "You did marry me, didn't you?" Pain filled Ahmad Kamal's eyes. Before he could fully answer, she continued softly, "I fulfilled my promise and you fulfilled yours." She held Ahmad Kamal's hand tightly in both of hers. Then slowly her grip weakened. Ahmad Kamal began reciting the Shahada beside her. And moments later, her soul returned to its creator. Silence filled the room. The woman who once entered Muslim lands as an enemy left this world as a believer. The next day, by the order of Salahuddin Ayyubi himself, she was buried among the Muslims. As for Faisal Fatimi and the conspirators, their resistance did not last long. After only days of interrogation, they revealed the remaining members of their network. More arrests followed. More hidden enemies were exposed. And Cairo was saved from a conspiracy that could have shaken the Muslim world from within. But perhaps the most powerful part of this story was not the political victory. It was the transformation of one human heart.